Today we're going to talk about 3 design choices with the phil&teds Smart V3 that we think were unfortunate and frankly not quite too smart. Okay, number 1 is the brake system. So the brakes are operated via this flimsy lever at the top. It is a static brake system, not a dynamic brake system. And there are several things that I think are kind of weaknesses with this brake system. Phil&teds with this model is not alone in putting this sort of brake system on it. The first time I saw this as a real problem was with the newer mountain buggy models. But in any case, you have a very flimsy plastic lever, and it is possible as the brake system begins to get a bit of rust in it, or some pebbles pop in the bottom where the brake pins pop out, or for whatever reason, when it's a little harder to pull on that wire, first point of breakage is where the wire connects to the actual lever. As we follow it down, you can see it has a split brake system. This one is already busted, and it's busted at the point of the wheels. So it does have a few adjustment screws, which is good. Sometimes people don't even put adjustment screws on this sort of system. But anytime you have the split brake system, even when it is functioning, it can be quite difficult to get both wheels to have the correct length of wire via the adjustment screws, such that they both brake equally when you apply the brake. In addition to that, this sort of a split brake system with kind of specialized heads on the ends of the wires down inside is very difficult for people to switch out with any sort of generic brake wire parts. So there's a good chance that the system will break, and it's very difficult for you to fix on your own without actually contacting phil&teds and getting yourself an extra wire, because it is sort of a specialized system. I don't really understand why a lot of manufacturers, and this one included, have decided to do the static brake thing up at the top. You just add a whole bunch of complexity to the brake system that if it were like a dynamic brake, like on a TFK stroller, then I would understand it. You know, there's a reason to be able to apply the brakes a little bit as you're going down a slippery hill or something. But just to be able to put the brakes on and off, it seems like a lot of unnecessary complexity, and especially with this specific sort of a little bit more lightweight or more fragile design, it's a lot of things that can go wrong when you could have just stuck with a foot brake system like they had before, which is a lot sturdier and a lot simpler. Okay, number 2 is the central fold mechanism, which is activated here via foot. You push this pedal over and push it down, and it pulls at 2 very tiny wires, same circumference as the brake wires, into this, what I like to call easy fold light setup. And it's pulling it down, and then it's thus activating the mechanisms and causing the stroller to fold. So I call it easy fold light. A lot of manufacturers are using this now. Of course, the Baby Jogger had a much more robust system, which was their easy fold system. I think it was patented, functioning in a lot similar ways. At least it has a central point, and it allows these to lock away from each other or fold towards each other. The problem with this one in particular, not just with the easy fold light system, is this foot activated idea. So when you push down with your foot, you're using a lot more pressure than you do when you would activate a mechanism like this just by pulling up a strap on the inside of the seat, which is how it normally works. And it has this large metal frame that is supposed to push down, which has like screws and various points of connection. And what happens over time is that elements of this bend, or connection points loosen, and you get to a point where even when you press down, one side will unlock, the other won't, and it'll be a little bit fiddly to get both sides to unlock, at the same time when you're pushing it. So there's this huge extra construction when most people just use a strap on the inside of the seat to activate the same type of mechanism. And that can get out of alignment, it can loosen, and wear down in these ways over time. In addition, this is, again, pulling down on a very thin brake wire, and you're using a lot more force with your foot than you would with a hand-activated system. And this can also lead to breaks inside, such that the mechanism cannot be activated at all, and you would be unable to fold down your stroller. Okay, number 3, the textiles in general. So first part about that, it's not the best type of textile. It's this kind of stretchy material that tends to catch on things and can kind of get messed up over time. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is how difficult it is to remove these textiles. They're screwed onto the chassis at multiple points. It's a big job just to get the textiles off. But more importantly than even that is the fact that the backboards are not removable. And this is a very large backboard. There are going to be very few people who have a washing machine capable of taking this textile set inside in order to wash it. That's even after you go through the process, the long, laborious process of removing the textiles in the first place. So it seems to me sometimes like stroller manufacturers don't realize that children are going to use these strollers. Children throw up and they spill their juice and they eat in their strollers. And if your best solution is to take this outside and hose it down, I don't know. You know, for me that's kind of like really a bad design choice to do with the stroller. So I put it as number 3, but really it's my number 1, and it's the sign of a poorly thought out stroller, to say the best, a cheaper type of stroller, if I were going to be really critical about it, is when it's hard to remove the textiles and when you can't even take out the backboards and wash them in a washing machine. So again, this was 3 things about the phil&teds Smart V3 that we dislike, that we think are not very smart. There are a few nice design choices on the stroller. It's not the worst stroller on the market, but these are certainly criticisms of this stroller. And for its price tag, you probably can find something a little bit better that won't have these sort of inbuilt problems. In any case, we hope that you found this video interesting, and if you did, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us continue making videos in the future. Thank you.